Hey there, it's Scott with My Tractor Guy. We're headed back out on the job site. This is actually day 5 of this job. And so you'll get to what we're doing today later in the video, but just wanted to introduce myself. Never really shown myself or introduce who I am, but I'm Scott with My Tractor Guy, so welcome to our channel. And we're on actual day 5 of putting in an additional culvert pipe and fixing another one, the old one that was there, and kind of dressing it out because it was getting washed out and such. So we're actually on day 5, so through the magic of video editing, we'll get you all caught up. We're starting from day 1 and then work our way up till today. But it's actually not in the morning. I went to get some lunch, and then I walked up to the truck to get the video camera, and forgot my key. Had to come back down and get it. But we got quite the long haul to get down to where we're at. Now, I don't know if y'all can see that over there. You got the bees over there, some honeybees, and they were out working with them this morning, and they are not happy. So somebody came in and took their honey, and I've already been stung like 2 or 3 times at this point because they're not happy that we're down here. They think maybe we were the ones messing with it. So I try to wear black when we're down near bees, because usually the guys who work with the bees are wearing those white bee suits. I don't know, maybe bees are colorblind. I'll have to look it up. So that's what we got going on now, and we'll show you some updates on what's going on and what we got going. So here's the job we got going today, and I'll show you what we're going to be working on. We started by cutting a bench over here. All that you see on the far end over there is topsoil that we stripped off the top, and we were getting nothing but big rocks and hitting sandstone. It was bad. So then I dug kind of deep in there, and I was getting a kind of a sandstone clay mixture, and I was like, there's got to be another place in this field. Got this huge field where we could go find somewhere that there's got to be some clay. And as you can see, I didn't have to go very far to find some good old North Carolina red clay. And this is what we're going to use for the backfill for some culvert pipes. The owner, you can see the difference in the color of that kind of sandstone clay mixture. I had a lot of that there, and we shuttled it down to a pile down there where the culvert pipes are. But the homeowner had worked with somebody else that had a skid steer, and they took all this, basically what amounts to topsoil that had rock all mixed in it and everything, and that's what they backfilled over their culvert pipe before. The culvert pipe's not as undersized for the amount of water that they have flowing, so we're putting in an additional 48-inch culvert pipe to go beside it. And so we're getting all this red clay, and so I'm digging a borrow pit right now, and then all that trash dirt we got over there, we're gonna put that back in this borrow pit, and then we're gonna grade out that topsoil again and kind of get that, because it was left all humpy, and the guy couldn't even mow it with his riding mower. He had to maintain that area over there where they cut it with the skid steer before. So it left him where he couldn't even really maintain it. So there's all kind of rock and stuff over there. We got to root rake all the rock out and use the grapple and get all the rocks out of it, and kind of clean that up, push the rocks over. We're going to use as much of the rock as we can to save on some riprap. So that's the one benefit of it. But then we're going to grade this all out nice and smooth for the homeowner, and put some seed and straw down so they can get some grass growing on it again. But they got this nice big field over here. there's gotta be some clay somewhere. And sure enough, you scrape off a little bit of topsoil and cut a little bit of bad dirt out, and you got some nice North Carolina red clay. And so we'll rake all that stuff back in the hole, and then we'll bring in that bad dirt over there. And then when all that's said and done, for this area right here, we'll rake this topsoil back up on top of it, get it back where we can plant some grass on it. Looks like we were never here. But that's what we're working on today. Just a little short video. I don't have my GoPro on me. I'm getting ready to go. Once we get through shoveling this dirt, I'm getting ready to go over there and take out a couple trees that we need to take out to widen the area where the culvert pipe is. And we'll get some video of that and kind of show you what else we got going. But tomorrow we gotta get the ram tamp and some geogrid. I ran out of geogrid on the last job, so we got to get some more geogrid, and we lay that down underneath the culvert pipe to give it a little bit more rigidity. This isn't for traffic, it's just foot traffic. So, and then I mean, they have one of those side-by-side carts and his lawnmower that gets back here. So certainly no vehicles or anything like that, so that'll make it a little bit easier. But they get a lot of water. I think they had an engineer tell them, I believe, that they're getting about water from about, I want to say he said 500 acres. I find that hard to believe. 50 acres maybe. But upstream there's a huge pond, and it has a dam, like a rock wall dam on it. And when they get a lot of rain, it comes down that creek channel. And every property, you know, this way and that way, and these are like huge lands, huge tracts of land, and they all kind of slope down to this little creek bed. So they do get a lot of water runoff. But you know, based on what I've seen in the manuals, I've got a couple of manuals that I look at, with impervious surface, which means no water penetrates at all, this thing should be fine with just a single 40-inch culvert pipe, based on the number of acreage that even the engineer said, which I thought was extremely high. But with the pipe that is already there, and then adding a second 48-inch culvert pipe, then we're going to have a lot more open area for water to go through and flow down the creek. So alrighty, well, I'm gonna get back to work here. I can't take my time to cross here. First of all, this concrete culvert pipe, it's not like what I've seen before. It's a little odd shape. It's kind of an old, like an egg shape or whatever, oval. It's not a circle. So we'll have to put a coffer dam up there to cut off the water, and then we got to dig all this out. This is where the second pipe is going to go. So I'm cutting out right there where that tree comes, and cutting out this area here, and we got a little scrub tree over here I'm getting ready to pull out. And we've got all these big rocks and stuff. I'm gonna take the big rocks and put them on the upstream side, and when we backfill with all that clay and do the front, especially with the clay, then we're gonna put fabric down and put as much rock and riprap and whatever we can on this uphill side to keep it from getting, because it's actually going all the way through right here on this side. See, the water kind of comes this way and then goes back into the pipe. The pipe isn't lined up exactly right, so we got to bring this pipe kind of over here to this side, and that other pipe is going to be on that side, and we're going to widen this out so that when they get an overflow of water, that it'll have a place to go. Now I gotta, That's our bar pit. It's about 10 feet deep, I guess. We got a little bit over here I can hog out, but we're going to take a lunch break. I think I've actually been able to keep ahead of Walker today. concrete pipe because we got some cracking on the outside lip of it. The inside is in there. There's just a bit of a gap in there, and so we're going to get some hydraulic cement and fill in that gap, and then try to patch repair this top here before we completely backfill it. But right now we're packing in the sides, and with the good red clay, hold on this nasty crap out. You can see this stuff over here. I don't know, you might be not able to see it, but there we go. This is nasty stuff. It had sticks and rocks and stuff all in it. Never was compacted. It just kind of settled on its own, and so it was kind of constantly getting washed out. And so we looked around in that field, as you know from earlier in the video, and found this good red clay here. And this is about the best stuff we've ever worked with. Seriously, for backfilling. It's a lot of times the clay is clumpy or whatever, and it's hard to get it nice and smooth before we backfill it. So Walker's usually fighting with it, but this stuff is man, it's compacting down real tight. So that stuff is not going anywhere. Like I said, the little bit of a crack that we have, we're going to fix that with some hydraulic cement, and go from there. So what we're doing is we're just backfilling. The good thing I like about the concrete culvert pipe is we don't have to backfill both sides at the same time like you do in the plastic. Otherwise the plastic will disform. So we're getting some compaction done. We had to put in, you can see the pump over there, the little red line, and we got a coffer dam up there. If we zoom in, got a coffer dam right there with the trash pump, and then we got a little backup coffer dam right there. And then this water was so high, and plus all the water we're pumping to it, we had to put a little coffer dam there to keep water from coming back. So that's what we're working with for now. Well, taking a quick break. Got a Starbucks, and this is the dirt we've shuttled so far. A little bit more up there to shuttle, and then Walker, as he is coming back, rather than come back with an empty bucket, he's grabbing this bad dirt. Excuse me. He's grabbing this bad dirt, and we're already backfilling that hole up there. So we're starting to kind of clean up on the top of the hill a little bit, and kind of staging everything where we need it. And this was really just kind of a drop off or whatever, so all this had gotten washed out. So we're using some of this. It's going to stay for the purposes of creating a bank again. But we got, let's see if you can see that out there. That dirt pile right there still. And then this stuff I'm kind of spreading out and filling in the low areas. Got a lot of rock up here we got to shuttle down, and then we're going to use that to put on the slope uphill side. If we got enough, we'll put some on the back end too, but really my concern is, and generally what I do is I'll put a rock at the bottom, put some rocks at the bottom going in, and mash them down in there and create a lip so it doesn't start going under the culvert pipe at any point. And then we'll put fabric in between the pipe and around the pipe, and then stage all these big rocks around down there toward the bottom and then progressively get smaller rock going up. But some pretty big rocks out here that we're going to be able to use. And I doubt I'm going to have to haul in any riprap. We'll see. If we do, we do. You hear that water running. I was like, man, I'd be making me a little area with a swing or some chairs or whatever. Sit down here and enjoy listening to the water run. Well, here we are at the end of day 3, I think. We're starting to fill back in the borrow pit. Still have a fair amount of clay there because the excavator is going to be on the other side. This is extremely inefficient, but because the excavator is going to be on the other side of the creek tomorrow, putting in the culvert pipe, and it's a 48-inch culvert pipe, which is about all this machine can handle, really. But I had to dig out extra to make sure we had enough. So we'll have the tractor on this side, and if we need more of this, it can come up here. But the more you handle material, the more expensive it is. And so, you know, you really don't want to touch it more than twice. You really don't want to touch it more than once. I mean, if you can hog it out and put it in a dump truck, then, you know, that's handling it, you know, one time. But with this, we had to dig it out, that's once, shuttle it down there with the tractor, that's twice, and then I got to use it to backfill the culvert pipe. So that's the third time I'm handling that same material. And then I'm digging, not COVID, I'm digging out the material from the culvert pipe and then moving that out of the way, and then having to use the tractor to shuttle that up here to put into the borrow pit. So I dug out more than I think I need. We've got some topsoil right here that we're going back over the top of this with, and when we get it all filled in. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today. That's all we did, is I dug out all this dirt, and that was the original pit there, and this is just what I dug out today. So we dug out a fair amount of dirt. He shuttled it all to the other end, and we'll show you that here in just a second. This is the most rocky soil I've ever seen in my life. I thought I was gonna have to bring in riprap, but I got a big pile of rock over there just from digging in the upper layer. And I got to bring a landscape rake tomorrow, and we're going to rake all this and try to clean up some of this rock. And got a little bit of sod down there where we had originally stripped the topsoil that we have over here. This is actually all topsoil until you get to about 2 feet down. Then that's pretty much topsoil. So all we did today is dig out the material and prep everything to get ready to put the culvert pipe in tomorrow. So now this stuff is compact as all get out. So we got some big rocks to put back, but all that soil you see over there, that's what we shuttled down today. But all that shuttling back and forth with the soil, this stuff is hard as a rock. So I'm probably going to be cussing trying to dig that out tomorrow. So we're looking at putting a pipe in. It's going to be lined up kind of with that tree. We're going to cut it the same size. I think this is a 16-inch pipe. And so we're going to cut it about the same size. as this one, and it's going to be lined up just the same, and we're going to lay this bank back because it's actually becoming an island, and so we got to look, and I might need to talk to the customer about that because they may need to come in and all the way up there pull back so that the creek bed is wide enough and it stops. It's trying to cut the corner. Water's washed over the top, and so it's trying to cut the corner right through here instead of coming down around the curve. So if we can fix that bank, then it continues straight through there. But the culvert pipe's going in tomorrow, and once we get the culvert pipe in, then we're going to backfill it with this clay, and then we'll use some of the material we take out to kind of go over the top through here instead of having this red clay on the top, because that red clay, when it gets wet, it's slick as snot, and you know, plus it makes a muddy mess and tracking red mud all over the place and everything. So right now we're loading up for the day, and we're calling it a little bit early. Got out a little bit late and calling it early because I knew all we were going to do today was what we did. So I've got everything ready up there for a landscape rake, and we're going to finish dressing that up tomorrow, and along with getting the culvert pipe in, hopefully we'll have enough time to get our fabric in and stage all the rock and get everything slicked up when we leave. So that's what the game plan is. The culvert pipe's the only thing I need because I've got that ram tamp for one more day, and then I got to return it. So that's a wrap for today.